attorney, Dawood Jaffer, who is presenting 6 of the victims of this holiday scam. Mr. Jaffer, thanks very much indeed for your time this morning on the program. You're representing 6 people of what I understand to be a group of 2,000 holiday hopefuls who have lost a combined 100 million rand.
Hi, good morning to you and good morning to all the viewers. Thank you for having me this morning. So yes, currently I do represent 6 individuals in this case. We're still at very early stages in the matter, at the consultation phase. What each of them have done was they have reported this to SAPS as well as their bank, who have then now told them what to do regarding the whole issue.
For the 6 victims that you're representing, what sort of amounts of money are we talking about for each individual person that's been lost?
Okay, so it varies. So I guess it depended on, the package that was booked. Some people paid 73,000, whereas others paid up to a maximum of 150,000, for these packages. So like I said, it varies. So it is quite a substantial amount just for the 6 people. And I mean, if you think of it compared to the 2,000 people that, gave money towards their holidays, it's easy that the money could be on 100 million as we speak.
So you talk about some of your clients now they've opened up cases with the SAPS. They're also now in conversation with their banks. But at this stage, what kind of help could the bank offer?
Okay, so look, I'm not really at liberty to speak about with regards to what the banks would be able to offer them, but I do know that the banks have requested that my clients email the bank's pro department the forms and the case number that they have received from the South African Police Services. So they, according to my client's instructions, the bank will then, do now an investigation and enlighten them further as soon as the investigation has been completed.
Right. I suppose the thing that makes this case so difficult is that this so-called holiday swindler had a business organizing holidays for people, which seemed legitimate at the time. People were going on the trips that they had paid her for.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, apart from the fact that, there were social media influencers that, posted these things, it was family members as well. So, one of my clients had a very close family member go on a trip, a successful multi-use trip where, everything was perfect. My client then decided, okay, based on what just happened, my client also booked for one of these packages and also went on a successful trip. And then when he came back, he booked further packages, which now obviously turns out to be that it was obviously not what it was truly meant to be.
Yeah, yeah. So Tasneem Musa is, shall we say, on the run? Effectively, she's nowhere to be found. How does the case progress now? What are the next steps that authorities take here?
Okay, so I recently, I think it was on Monday, I reached out to her attorneys who were at the time representing her, and they advised me as well that due to a lack of instructions from their client, who is Tasneem Musa, they obviously had to terminate their mandate with her, because they cannot find her. So what can happen now is, a criminal investigation is done, she'll be charged and tried in a court of law in South Africa. But apart from that, civil claims can be brought against her as well. It depends on whether or not Hello Darlings was in her personal capacity or whether it was done through a company. If it was done through a company, we might even go as far as to request the courts to pierce the corporate veil and hold her liable in her personal capacity for these funds.
You're talking about holding her liable, a criminal case being opened against her. I mean, none of this can proceed without the physical person of Tasneem Musa.
Yeah, look, that's where it becomes very tricky. So, certain countries does not have extradition treaties with South Africa. So, I guess it all depends on, where she is found and when she is found. But however, if she is found, she will obviously be charged based on all the charges that had been laid against her.
Yeah, yeah. So, Mr. Jaffer, just in terms of finding her, and I know I'm harping on this issue now, but You know, what happens in a case like this where someone is missing? They've effectively disappeared. Do we alert? Do our authorities alert the authorities in other countries? And which countries do we know should be alerted?
So from what I've heard, and again, this is all definitely, again, speculation and, just allegations, is that, there were rumors that she had been in Dubai, if I'm not mistaken, as well as Turkey. That might be a point of reference, to start with. If there is a very strong suspicion that she is in those countries, we would then alert them about Tasneem.
Perhaps I've watched one too many episodes of CSI, but can we check whether she's been on a flight recently? Are we able to do that?
So it's still a bit early in the investigation to maybe do things like that. Once maybe the police have furthered their investigation, possibly then. I cannot say if that can be done right now, as we speak.
And in the meantime, I suppose the question is whether there are more clients, more victims than these 2,000 that have come forward.
Yes, so I would assume that the list will keep on growing, From what I've heard, it's currently on 3,000 people. Again, it's just speculation and allegation at this stage. It cannot necessarily be said that all those cases are proven cases because, it's all based on the Telegram group. And, not everyone maybe in the group are people that were scammed out of their money. But yes, the number might keep on growing.
Dawood Jaffer, thank you so much for your time this morning on the AM Report. He represents 6 of the 2,000, some say 3,000 victims of this holiday swindler, so-called, this person called Tasneem Musa, who was selling holidays that never materialized. I think the Tinder swindler really opening up a massive can of worms insofar as the kinds of scams that are taking place all over the world.
And it seems like it's an industry we weren't even aware actually exists, right? I think it's quite safe to say that. And the modus operandi is exactly the same. You've shown instances of great success. We're told that Tasneem was able to actually take some people 2 trips successfully. In fact, some of those people who are now victims were hoping for a second run. And obviously, that necessarily didn't materialize.